Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
We're celebrating the fact that it's almost 2 years to the day since we early retired, and we thought we'd share some of our reflections with you on how we've got on. So as I said earlier, I can't believe that we've already been early retired for nearly 2 years.
For those of you that don't know, we're Richard and Jackie, and we made the decision to early retire at the age of 51. We were never going to retire at 51. We were always aiming to retire at 55, but 2021 was a pretty torrid year for us, where I lost my dad and I lost my brother. So we made the decision that life was short and that we wanted to go out and see what was out there.
So we made the radical decision that we were going to sell our family home in Cheshire, and we moved to the Yorkshire Dales into a tiny little 2-up 2-down cottage. We spent the best part of our first year of early retirement renovating the cottage and getting it livable.
We documented everything that we have done in early retirement on this YouTube channel, which is so far out of our comfort zone, and you find us here today, 2 years into early retirement. So what we want to do in this video is to just take you through some of our celebrations and some of our reflections on what's gone on in those 2 years of early retirement.
So when we sat down and actually thought about the last 2 years and what we'd achieved and what we'd done, the biggest thing that we both kind of came up with is that we both feel so much more calm, so much more relaxed. We really tend to just go with the flow now. We're not as rigid in our planning of what we do. We're the masters of our own destiny, and we love that feeling. We don't have any feelings of guilt about what we want to do or where we're going to go. We just get on with it.
Yeah, very wise woman. My mum, for years when she was retired, always used to say, I do what I want when I want. And that's a really powerful statement. And it's taken us a couple of years to realise that we, as we say, we're masters of our own destiny and we do what we want when we want. And that's just great.
And I love the feeling that nobody can tell us what to do anymore. We have no rules apart from societal rules to tell us what we can do. We love it. We love just doing what we want when we want.
One of the things we've been able to do over the course of the last 2 years is to put our health and well-being absolutely at a central pillar of our lives. I think too often when we were at work, it was just a bolt-on extra. So we used to go to the gym after work. And for me, I thought in work I was relatively healthy, but looking back on it now, I had really poor sleep patterns. My nutrition was not good. And I suppose, to not put too fine a word on it, I was stressed out. So that's been a massive change for me over the course of the last 2 years.
And for me as well, I probably come across on the channel as the really laid back one, but actually when we were working, I was the one that was always preoccupied, constantly thinking about what we were going to do the next day and what I had to get done and had I done everything I needed to do, whereas that's just gone now. And I don't think we realised quite how much we maybe used alcohol as a bit of a crutch when we got home from work if we'd had a stress day. We probably got into a habit of having a glass or two of wine pretty much every night, whereas now it's really good. We tend to actually look forward to having a glass of wine or a bottle of wine on a weekend, and we'll sort of celebrate that it's a Saturday and it's wine night, which is lovely, not thinking that we need to have a glass of wine every night.
And I think we've just been a little bit more mindful, and we've got a little bit more time, obviously, to focus on our health. And health is not just physical health, it's also mental health and our well-being. We've got time to pursue our hobbies and the things that we love. We are much more mindful about how we use our time, and that has all sort of combined together to just make us feel generally much less stressed.
Genuinely, our family and our friends have commented more frequently just how chilled out we are, and we definitely feel it.
And talking of family and friends, that leads on to the next point.
Yeah, the last 2 years have given us so many opportunities that we just would not have had if we'd been working. Spending time with my mum has just been fantastic. We've had so many opportunities where we've been able to get away and just say yes to any opportunity that she offers us. So we've spent some time in America with her, where we went on a 5-week road trip. We've been to Phoenix with her. She's got a special birthday coming up, and for the first time ever, her birthday's in the middle of January, we've been able to say, let's just book a week away for your birthday, Mum, and we'll just make a really nice celebration of it. And it's lovely to just have that quality time.
And for me, with my mum's got dementia, but it's really important that I've got the time to build those memories with mum, because mum's really happy at the moment. And, you know, if I was working, then I would miss all of those opportunities. I get to see mum much more than I would have done if I was working. And I think it's more the quality of time that we have with our family.
When we were working, we actually didn't see our grown-up kids very often at all, because they lived in Cardiff for quite a lot of the time. They both went to university there, and then they both moved up to Manchester, actually living opposite each other, which was quite bizarre. But they were working during the week, as we were, and we were really busy. But we just used to go away in our campervan, which we looked forward to so much, just getting away every weekend. And when we reflect back, I think sometimes we could go 5 or 6 weeks where we didn't see the children. Whereas now, actually, we get out and about exploring, and if we're around in England, we'll probably see them every couple of weekends, which is lovely.
It's almost freed up our weekends because we do our early retirement stuff during the week, and then we have family time at the weekend, which is the best of both worlds.
And we've got an amazing holiday coming up with the whole family, all our extended family, our kids, my sister, all the grandparents. So we're going to have a fab couple of weeks in America with them, which we're really looking forward to. Again, we wouldn't have been able to do it when we were working.
And we've talked a lot on the channel about building those lasting memories, and it's not just about the actual holiday, it's the fact that all of our family are going to have time to look back on that time that we had together as really precious moments, and that just keeps on giving over a period of time.
When we were both working as teachers, we had a real identity as teachers. And when we first early retired, one of the biggest concerns we had is what we would see as our purpose in life. I personally identified myself as a teacher, and I really didn't think that I would have the skills or I would have the ability to be anything else. And it was a little bit of a worry at the time.
Yeah, and we've taken a few projects that we weren't entirely sure or we weren't entirely comfortable in doing, and we've just got on and got stuck in, and that has done our confidence the world of good. So who would have thought that us with absolutely no practical skills at all will have managed, I emphasise the word managed, a renovation of the cottage. We didn't do a massive amount of stuff. We did the unskilled stuff, but we're really proud of what we've done in the Yorkshire Dales.
You didn't just do the unskilled stuff, you actually learnt from YouTube how to fit skirting boards. That was about the only thing we trusted ourselves to do, because we knew the house wouldn't fall down if we did the skirting boards. And we did lots of painting and decorating. But yeah, we had 6 months where we actually threw ourselves into just getting our cottage to the way it is now, and we love it. It's beautiful, and actually we have a real sense of pride that we created that vision from what we actually bought, which was interesting to say the least.
And then at the start of our retirement, we made the decision that we were going to absolutely put ourselves out of our comfort zone and start this YouTube channel. And thinking back over 2 years, we don't actually quite like looking at our first videos, but we've grown, we've learned a tremendous amount of new skills, and what's more important is we've actually built a bit of a community around the channel that we really enjoy working with and talking to, and that is just something that makes us immensely proud.
And actually just doing the YouTube channel has given us this real sense of purpose. When we're out and about on the holidays, at the moment we're in the Orkney Isles, and most of the day we are just pottering about, we're hiking and we're just doing our thing. But then we do have this little bit of purpose, thinking, you know, what bits shall we capture? What would we like to showcase about the Orkney Islands? And it just gives us a bit of thought of what we're doing.
So if there's a lesson to be learned from our experience, it's probably that your identity is more than just your job, you know. So we weren't just teachers, we were parents, we were partners, we were sons or daughters, we were friends. Of course, we had colleagues and we missed those colleagues, but there's a whole host of roles that you can take on in life, and your working role is only one of them.
I'm not actually sure I could go back and be a teacher anymore either.
No,
I think I've lost all my brains, emptied out of anything that I knew on how to teach now anyway.
One of the things that surprised us during our early retirement, and I think we were probably pretty naive to it, was that stress doesn't just disappear when you give up work, it changes. So we no longer obviously have the stresses of working life, but our sort of stress antennae focus on different things. So it might be keeping things on budget, it might be working out where we are traveling next. There's a whole host of things that we worry about, and I'm a terrible worrier and I worry about worrying. So yeah, stress doesn't disappear, it just changes.
This is probably very well documented on our YouTube channel, but we are really embracing any opportunity that we get to be able to go and travel. We've been retired for 2 years and we have had some absolutely fantastic trips. Like I said earlier, Mum offered to take us to America with her because she wanted a driver of an RV around all the national parks in Wyoming and Montana and North and South Dakota. And who are we to say no, because we had that time. At the moment we're on the Orkney Islands and we've been to the Shetlands. We wanted to come and see the puffins and we'd spent a lot of money on the ferries, so why not just stay for a month? We are not saying no to any opportunity that we get to travel as long as we can afford it, because we didn't have that chance when we were younger. We went to university, we went straight from university into our jobs. We did get a chance to travel bits in the holidays, obviously teachers do get good holidays, but we never had that chance to have a gap year or do any of the travel when we were younger. We had our children really young, which now we count as a blessing because we've got the time now. Our children are healthy, they're grown up, they're independent, they can do what they want, and we have now got that time to ourselves and we are just embracing it.
One of the things I've definitely learned over the course of the last 2 years is to just try and loosen my grip on life and just to relax and let it happen a little bit. When I was at work, I was very driven, I was very focused, and that's a really hard habit to get out of. It's something that I have to work on every day, but it's something that is developing over the course of our early retirement and I'm getting better at. So the more I practice it, the better I'll get.
I, on the other hand, never really did have a highly strong grip on things. I just went with the flow for most parts.
In terms of finance, one of the things that really surprised us in early retirement is something that my dad always used to go on about. And he said it's actually quite surprising at how cheap retirement life can actually be. And it's not that we live a cheap life, but we just live a really modest life. We believe in less is more and we try to value the simple things in life. And actually, we've probably worked out that working is quite expensive. It's quite an expensive lifestyle to keep up. And now that we're early retired, we are finding things a little bit more economical.
So when we first early retired, we did have a plan of what our finances should be, but in the first year we did perhaps go a little bit overboard on it, and we have had to rein in our spending a little bit. So we do have a monthly balance sheet now. We take money out, so we have £200 a week. Cash is king. That £200, generally, we try and make it cover all of our food costs, all of our petrol. In the winter, we use a bag of firewood, which is £22 a week, because most of the house is heated through our wood-burning stove, and most other expenses we try to cover with that £200 a week. And then we just keep a spreadsheet so that we know what we've spent, where we spent it, and we're just a little bit more mindful. But we're not scrimping and saving. We do live a really comfortable life. We don't want for anything.
No, and we just, again, try to be flexible. But we also have designed a bit of a review process that we review at the end of every month just to check where we're up to in terms of our annual spend. And we found certainly this year that that has been so much more of use to us to keep us on track with our plans.
And something that we had never anticipated when we set up the YouTube channel is we've actually got a little bit of an income coming in from that, which is lovely because that means we're not worrying about whether we can afford to go on some of the travels like our trip that we're on at the moment for a month.
And ultimately, we have got a contingency plan for if it all goes pear-shaped, because we know that we could go back into employment at any time if required. I think what's really important is that we would definitely not be stepping back into career employment such as teaching, where we would be looking more for what we would consider a job. It would be enough to meet our needs in terms of finances, but we wouldn't be having that full-on commitment and that emotional attachment to a particular career.
Yeah, something part-time, maybe seasonal, just chunks of work that would earn us enough money to keep travelling again. We don't want to tie ourselves up, do we? We want to have the freedom, like we said right at the beginning of the video, just having that freedom to do what we want when we want. So that's it, our reflections on our first 2 years now of early retirement. And for us, actually after the second year, one of the biggest things that we've really thought about in our reflections is that Our early retirement has just given us the ultimate flexibility to do what we want when we want, and we love that.
So we hope you've enjoyed our reflections, and we hope there is something in this video that you can perhaps take away. They are only our reflections. We are living this day to day and just muddling along, finding our own way through it. But I think that's the key to all things early retirement. But that's it from us. So see you later. Bye.
Bye.